do introduction. I'm Giselle Nova. I'm the coordinator for the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County.
I'm Dale Nova with the Mount Shasta Area Fire Safe Council.
And then up in the corner, Ruby. She didn't hear. Ruby, you want to introduce yourself?
She's muted.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Ruby, and I am Giselle's administrative assistant, and I go to college at Simpson University.
All right. Josh.
Hello, program manager with CORE, working on the Community Wildfire Defense Grant alongside the Fire Safe Council.
Yvonne.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Ray from the Klamath River Fire Safe Council.
Hi, Yvonne.
Brian Murphy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Murphy. I'm the fuels planner for the Shasta Trinity National Forest. I'm out of McLeod.
Joe Hott.
Hi, everybody. This is Joe Hott with Black Mountain Fire Safe Council.
Greg Dinger.
Mount Shasta West volunteer.
Gregory Randazzo.
Hi, I'm Gregory Randazzo. I'm with just myself, actually, just a concerned citizen.
Marlene.
Hi, I'm Marlene Ludlow, and I'm just a citizen up in Mount Shasta, and you know, what can I say?
Oh, well, you're a good citizen.
Just here to learn things.
Nick Jocelyn.
Hi, I'm Nick Jocelyn at the Mount Shasta Bioregional Ecology Center. I run the community fire resiliency program.
Jen Erickson.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Erickson. I'm the Forest Fire Prevention Officer on the Klamath National Forest.
Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly Brightmoon. I'm a Siskiyou County landowner, and I also work for the Nature Conservancy managing ranches in Siskiyou County.
And then there's a label 2 King 2. Are you there? 2 King 2. Okay. Madeline.
Madeline Lavaji, concerned Quartz Valley resident.
Right. Tuli Potts.
Hey all, I'm Tuli Potts with the Sierra Nevada Conservancy. I'm based in South Siskiyou County.
Heidi George.
Hi, I'm a landowner and resident of Mount Shasta, Siskiyou County.
All right, welcome everybody. Did I miss anybody? All right, well, let's just move into our agenda. First action item, I'd like to welcome and have her introduce herself, Jill Drinkwater, the Regional Manager for Pacific Power. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for inviting me, Dale and Giselle. I'll turn this on real quick just so to show face, but hi. My internet is not super strong, so I'm gonna shut it back off so I don't bleep out on you again. Anyway, thanks again, for having me. Whoops, there we go. I am the regional business manager for California's our Pacific Power territory, which includes Del Norte County, Siskiyou County, and Modoc County. I'm based out of our Wairika Operations Center. I live in the Scott Valley and travel throughout the region as needed. My primary role is business and community relations, communication, doing things like this. So anyway, that's my role. I've been with Pacific Power for a little over a year now, but I've lived in Siskiyou County for the last 25 years and have done a variety of different things. Some of you, I believe I've crossed paths with before. So anyway, thanks for having me, and I'm happy to start, or if you want to start with questions, I'm not sure how you want to go next.
Well, do you have something to update us with before we get started with questions?
Well, Dale asked the specific question regarding the upgrades to our infrastructure that we've been doing really throughout the county, but I think it's been fairly highly visible in the Mount Shasta South County area. And so he asked a specific question about our I guess decisions, how we go about making the decisions for overhead power lines versus underground. So I do have some slides to share about that. I don't know if that's where you want me to start. I'm happy to start
Sure.
there.
Let me make you a co-host and then you can share. Hang on just a second. Okay. See if you can share now, Jill.
Okay. Here we go. So can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a slide that demonstrates two of our projects in South Siskiyou County that are current underground projects that have been scoped and approved, and there is work being done. And there's a legend down at the bottom that kind of explains. But essentially, these two projects, the one in Weed was specifically requested by Caltrans. I don't know how familiar some of you are with that particular area, but it is the area on Highway 97 to the west of Lincoln Heights. And it's kind of, for lack of a technical term or to avoid a technical term, it's just a bit of a mess. There's a lot of infrastructure there. There's some visibility challenges, and there's obviously some safety challenges there. So Caltrans asked us to underground that. And I should back up and say that all of the work that we're doing is mandated. These areas are considered tier 2 and tier 3 CAL FIRE areas. And so we have to rebuild or upgrade all of this infrastructure to meet the state agencies' requirements. And this is all based on their evaluation of the fire risk or fire threat that it poses. So so that's kind of like, I guess, where we start. The other underground that you see is actually up in the ski park area. And part of that was required by the Forest Service to avoid some culturally sensitive areas. There was also some requirements based on altitude that they have a requirement that it's less than 100 feet for spans for like the span of wire from one pole to the next. And based on that area, we can't meet that requirement. So that's why that's being underground. That particular project, I'll show you on the next slide, but that particular project, because of the requirements for covered conductor based on snow and ice, it actually made overhead in that particular area more expensive. That is rarely ever the case. Underground is typically always more expensive than underground. Does anybody have any questions on this particular slide before I go to the next one? And I can't see, so I don't know. I mean, all I can see is my slide. So I don't know if people are raising hands or whatnot. I can't see you. So please speak up.
It doesn't look like anybody has any questions yet, Jill.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So this next one just sort of really explains a little bit more of the process and how we evaluate projects. So covered conductor, which is what we are installing for the most part on the new steel poles that you see. It's incredibly cost effective for mitigating the wildfire risks in comparison to underground. And again, undergrounding certain areas, it really depends on project specific conditions. So one thing I think I mentioned earlier is that all of this is coming to us at a requirement from the state agencies. So time, in addition to cost, is of the essence. I think we're all aware of the wildfires that we've experienced and the wildfire threat that continues to escalate. So you can see in that first little box, just in terms of implementation and our ability to install covered conductor versus our ability to underground. There's a significant time advantage for overhead. And then the middle box there, again, displays the cost and the typical cost difference between covered conductor and undergrounding. And then the sort of when we get into the specifics, there are certain areas that have ordinances that anything new has to go underground. I believe the city of Mount Shasta has that in place, as well as there may be some other jurisdictions in the county as well. And sometimes, again, the permitting conditions, depending on the property owner or the agency entity that where we're putting lines in, we may be required based on permitting to put in underground as well. So that's really it. It's very simple, very straightforward in terms of, well, I shouldn't say it's simple, but it's pretty straightforward as to the decision making in putting these things in. So that's what I have on that. And I'm happy to answer questions.
There's one from Nick Joslin. Nick, go ahead.
I was wondering if the cable you use, is it direct burial or is it put into conduit?
I think that depends, Nick. I can't say for sure. I think it depends on the project. I know that some of the underground that we have in place now that's been underground is direct bury. And I actually don't know in terms of requirements going forward whether it's conduit or direct bury, or if it depends. I could certainly find out and get back to you with a definitive answer because I don't really want to guess.
And then are these I'm guessing the one in Weed is actually transmission, but is the one over in Mount Shasta, are those distribution just to the ski area, or are those?
Yes. Yeah. Part of that was to meet the needs of the ski park and the new lift, right? Or extension of a lift.
So those they basically end at the ski park. Those aren't transmitting power beyond there.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
The second screen isn't showing.
That's in the chat too. Second screen, your second slide, Jill, we can't see. We never saw that.
Well, let's
there
try.
you go. Can you see it now, guys?
Yes.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
And Jill,
could
you email those to me and I'll share them?
Yeah. I'm not using a mouse and my keypad is super sensitive. Can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, good.
These dollars. Can you see that?
I can't. So again, it's really small. So if you could email it, we would pass that around.
Yep.
Okay. Dale has a question.
Sure, Dale.
Jill, what I'd like to know is what is the average cost per mile for replacing the wooden poles for metal poles and doing the upgrading and figuring just the 12,000 volt high voltage lines, not 66 kVs or anything else. And then what is the cost average to underground that 12 kV infrastructure?
So does that, sorry, I can't see. Can you see that middle box, Dale?
Yeah, I can see the box, but I can't see the numbers. The numbers are real tiny.
Does that help? So
You can enlarge it on your screen by, opening your screen.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got it open. It's
Oh.
not showing up.
Can you enter presentation mode in your?
Whoops. It is in presentation mode on my end. So that's why I'm not totally sure what's happening on your end. And I don't have a per mile cost. This is like an average. So on average, an underground project is 50 to 75% more than using covered conductor and steel poles.
Approximately 75% more, did you say, going underground?
Correct.
And that is in comparison with the replacement poles and upgrading?
Yeah. So
infrastructure.
we're counting the entire project, right? So it's all of the infrastructure that has to go into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the cost for removal and replacement of the poles and upgrading does not include maintenance. Is that correct? Over, say, a 5-year period or a 10-year period?
No, these are project costs.
And what would be the cost for maintaining over a 10-year period, just average 12 kV infrastructure?
Great question. I'll have to get back to you. I do not know the answer.
Because I know here on my road on Shasta Avenue in North Mount Shasta, I typically see Trees Inc. crews come in every year, trimming along our power line corridor.
Right.
Julie shared a file in chat so we could see it larger. Yes, we'll look at that.
Bill, could you get that on for the typical cost per mile for maintenance, including tree trimming, is fine? And I certainly realize it's a great variation.
Yeah, I can certainly ask. Do you want me to stop sharing? Did you want to share something else?
I don't have anything to share. Tuli, can you share that clip that you took? See if that will work. I'll make Tuli, let me see here. Participants. See if I can get Tuli up.
I think that everybody can just click on the chat and see the image.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't, it didn't open for me, but.
Worked fine for me.
Oh, well.
Sorry, Giselle, I'm on my phone. I'm not sure if I can.
Oh, okay.
Share
Thanks. Yeah.
Sorry,
okay,
that wasn't
that's all right.
That's
all right.
Apologies.
So anyway, well, any more questions for Jill? And Jill, do you have any more updates concerning like fire and fire safe? And...
Yeah. I mean, I can give you a few just like sort of updates or overview of what's been going on and what is going on. I think you're probably all aware, you've probably experienced more outages than you were used to in the past, and potentially for longer periods of time. And so what's happened because of the ongoing and increasing threat of wildfire, our system, as soon as we enter wildfire season, which is based on, here's another piece for Pacific Power. In the last, I'm going to say 18 months, we've hired well, we're up to, we had before, but we are now at 7 full-time 24/7 meteorology staff. So they're
Oh, wow.
constantly analyzing weather data. We've installed, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't even know. I know in Northern California, I think we're at 20 or 30 different weather stations. So we're constantly analyzing the weather conditions for humidity,
Thank you
for
for that.
wind, for temperature. And, you know, and we're also very cognizant of the fuel loads. So when the formula dictates that we are now in what we either call an elevated or a significant level of risk for fire threat, our systems go on what's called enhanced safety settings. We did call them enhanced fire risk settings at one time. Now they're called enhanced safety settings. And essentially what this means for us is that the system that previously, like if something bumped the line, the circuit would open and then it would test to see if it could reclose safely. And now when the system is on these enhanced safety settings, if anything bumps the line, and by anything, I mean a balloon, if one line touches another line, if a bird flies into it, if a tree branch were to fall, hit the line, and then continue to just fall to the ground and not stay on the line, any of those things causes the system to open, and it will not test because we've deemed that that is a threat. If it closed, it could potentially create a spark, which could potentially create a fire or add to an existing fire. So when we're in this enhanced safety settings season, if you will, then the system, the circuit remains open. And it has to be patrolled by a person, by a human. And some of our circuits can only be patrolled by helicopter because of the terrain that we're dealing with. So therefore they can only be patrolled during the daytime.
Right.
So this is the reason for the increased frequency and the increased duration of the outages during fire season. We're basically just at a level of as little risk as possible, right? There's always risk, but we're really trying to take every step to avoid the risk. One thing that we are learning as we are replacing infrastructure, and in addition to that, putting these enhanced safety settings on new infrastructure, is that we're learning more and more about our circuits and how they interact. So we fully anticipate that we're going to be able to manage this better, to bring that level of reliability back up, in addition to providing the safety and the low level of risk. But it is a work in progress. It is going to take time. So that's what's been going on. The good news is that we are, by what they're showing us now, we're heading into a better weather season. So we should be moving out of those enhanced safety settings soon and experiencing less outages. And I think for the most part, I get an outage report just on the regular, and I think they've lessened already. But they should continue as we head back towards normal system settings. So that's really the only other update that I have. I'm happy to answer any other questions related to you know, the wildfire settings and what we're doing to try and keep everybody safe.
Josh, did you have a question?
I sure do. Hey, Jill, do you have a number for residents to call if they're concerned about trees impacting the lines near or on their property?
Yes, the customer service number, which I should have memorized, but I don't.
You can put it
Put
in
it in the
chat.
chat, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat. And
you.
the other, you know, there's a couple other things, like this
Yeah,
is one
that
of the things
particular
that we
number is in all
learned.
of the phone books
Yeah,
and online.
and there's links so that you can sign up for outage notifications. And there's also a Pacific Power smartphone app, so you can look it up. You can report an outage, all of those things. So yeah, I'll throw all that stuff in the chat.
All
Great.
right, thank you.
One
That's
more
great.
question, Jill.
Of course.
When there's the need to shut off power because of red flag winds, high fire danger, et cetera, what kind of lead time can you notify customers, particularly those customers that may be on life-saving medical equipment?
Sure. So in the case that I was just talking about in terms of those settings, we don't even know when that's going to happen, right? Because that's, I mean, for the most part, it's something strange happens. A tree limb falls, a bird flies into something, a squirrel gets stuck in a transformer. All of those sorts of things happen. And we don't have any advance notice.
Right.
But in the case of, there's two cases where it's planned. One is the actual PSPS, right? Which we haven't had one. I think it's been, at least not this year or last year, we haven't had one. So those are 72 hours out, right? And those are done in coordination and collaboration with all of the other emergency services in the area. So that's what the other situation. And then the other is what we call emergency de-energization for wildfire. So this is when there's an active wildfire in the area, like recently, for example, the Shelley fire, right? So we were able to give residents who were going to have their power turned off, we were able to give them notice. And I don't remember how much notice we gave them. I want to say it was a day ahead of time. I think it was at least 12 hours. It depends on the threat of the wildfire, Dale, but our goal is to try and do 30 minutes at least. If
30
it's
minutes?
safe. Yeah, if it's
Uh-huh.
safe to do
Okay.
so. If it's not safe, then, obviously, but that's the goal. And we're working, internally too on systems to improve that. But yeah.
Okay.
Well, that sounds good. Yeah, we've lost power very little through the summer here in Mount Shasta. But I know up north, there's a number of people that have lost power, often with no warning. I think we have a couple of them in our audience, Joe Hott and Ruby, as two people I believe have lost power a number of times with no notice. And no fires in the area at the time. So it was somewhat of a mystery to them.
Yeah, and that probably has more to do with the safety settings. And that's the part that's really hard about it, is because the system is on those settings and you can look outside and you don't see fire. You may not even see wind. And it may not even be that hot that day. But the system is on those settings because of the time of year that we're in.
I see.
That's good to know, Jill. I never realized that there were those kind of settings, and those are good things happening. And we appreciate you sharing all of that with us. Anybody else have any questions for Jill?
I have a question. This is Yvonne with the Klamath River Fire Safe Council. Hi. I was wondering about how do I find out, or anybody finds out really, about the progress or the status of a specific area. For example, we had people working here in Klamath River on Beaver Creek Road. And then I haven't had an update since, and there's some coordination that's going to be needed on our property. And so I'm wondering, who do I call or contact to get a status update or work notice or something like that?
Sure. You can, I'll put my information in the chat for that kind of stuff. You can call me because we have so many contractors working for us, and trying to track down who's on what project. I can help with that.
Great. Okay. Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question. I was told that, if your power goes out and you have the automatic reading system, that you don't have to report it, that Pacific Power knows about it automatically. Is that true, or is that just a stupid rumor?
Well, I don't know. What we tell everybody is, if your power's out, please report it. because I mean, I experienced it at my house where my power was out and they said, well, it's showing power to the meter. And I said, well, that's wonderful, but my power is out. So something's wrong. So if your power's out, I always report it. And really the easiest way, like I never want to wish sitting on hold to anyone. So the easiest way to report a power outage is either through our app or you can text, and I'll put this in the chat as well. It's a 77. You can text that number and just say out, and that will get you in the queue. So if you don't feel like calling the 800 number.
Well, you know,
yeah,
I've done it many a time. So
right.
it seems like ours always goes out, you know, it's not forever, but you know, it's done it quite a few times. So yeah. Okay, well, thank you. That's good to know. There's just a story. A lot of rumors.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's good to clear those things up.
Yeah,
Dale, you have
exactly.
something to say?
Well, with people on medical devices, of course, I think it's very important that they realize power can be lost during fire season, such as we're discussing, and plan accordingly by having generators or battery backup sources to their devices. And so I think it's important that all of the leadership in our local fire safe councils pass this on to their folks in their respective communities about this high possibility of losing power, and anybody that has medical devices that need to be powered up, plan accordingly. One thought I do have is seeking help from your local family resource council or community advocates in or near your areas, so that maybe they can give you some help in that regard. Any other suggestions, guys? All righty. Well, Jill, thank you so
So
much. I sure appreciate this, and I'll be looking
You're
forward to
welcome.
additional information to pass on too.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you
Absolutely.
again, Jill.
And for the invite.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And we'd like you to come back on a regular basis. Don't have to every month, but with any updates, let us know when something new is happening that we need to know about, and come back and talk to us.
Happy to do that. Thank you so much.
Well, we sure appreciate all your efforts, Jill.
No problem. Thank you for your efforts as well.
All right.
You're welcome.
Well, let's move on. Next on the agenda is Clint, and I don't think he's here, about the Klamath River Basin Crisis Center, and we'll get him back. It's fire season. Things are very busy. And so next update is the Community Wildfire Defense Grant. Josh, can you give us a little update on that?
Yeah, Community Wildfire Defense Grant is going really well. Continuing home assessments, and we're currently focused again on Hamburg, Cecilville, and Callahan. Recently had our first successful workshop out at Forks of Salmon. Invited those folks and the people of Cecilville. So a big thank you to the Salmon River, again, Restoration Council, also Salmon River Fire and Rescue, Patty Grantham from Shasta RCD, Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County, and everybody involved in that I bugged in between. It went really well, so thank you there. So continuing home assessments, and we are also looking at bringing on some AmeriCorps fellows to help with this project. We were successful bringing one fellow on, so big congratulations to Greg Randazzo. We will be onboarding him, finalizing that towards the end of September, so that's very exciting. And we're looking to fill one more position as well. If there's any project goers, especially in Hamburg, Cecilville, Callahan, or folks that are interested in the project that I haven't talked to yet, please reach out to me. I'll put my contact information in the chat, along with the grant info, and along with that is how to sign up, the website, and information on that position to fill another AmeriCorps fellowship. So if you know anybody who's looking to get involved in wildfire mitigation and has 11 months to be dedicated, it comes with a really good educational award at the end of it. It's through AmeriCorps, and all that information will be in the chat. That is end of report, unless there's any questions.
Can you give us a brief summary of what the Community Wildfire Defense Grant is and what it covers and what it will do?
Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, this grant is Siskiyou-wide. It's through the U.S. Forest Service, and it is running till 2028. And we're focused on education and outreach of anything wildfire mitigation-wise, emergency alerts, home insurance, things of that nature, to performing home assessments. These home assessments are for anybody who's interested. And we focus on home hardening, the defensible space, and some safety measures as well, such as the home address, the entry and egress of the driveway for emergency personnel. And these are all recommendations that we're given. We're not enforcing anything. They're really good recommendations, and if anything, just creating good conversation around wildfire mitigations.
So
With
if
these home
someone is
assessments- Oh, go ahead, Jen.
chosen, I'm sorry, so if someone is chosen as underserved, can we help them?
Yeah, this grant is focused on low income or vulnerable communities. As you all know, Siskiyou County has a big senior population, or folks who can't afford to contract out work on their property or afford the tools to do it themselves, or for whatever reason. So we're focused on those individuals who need the help. And if you need the help, that's the third part of that project, is implementation of defensible space, where we focus on that first 100 feet of a person's yard. That work is done, or the plan is done closely with the resident. So they are very involved with what work will take place on their property. And then we'll put those out to bid, looking to hire local contractors and get that work done for folks. And that's a big portion of the grant. There is money for some roadside clearance, 50 feet to each side of the road. And that portion, we're focused again on entry and egress for the safety of the public or emergency personnel.
Thank you. That's just great. Good presentation, good report. So any questions for Josh? Okay, moving on. U.S. Forest Service. Let's start with Jen, Klamath National Forest. Do you have an update for us, Jen?
Yeah, it's not too big of an update. And I just want to say, I know someone who had their home assessed, and the product that you get from Core that is emailed to you is very helpful. So just wanted to put a plug into that. Thank you, Josh.
Wow.
Thank you, Jen.
Okay, so Klamath National Forest, right now we've got 5 of our engines here. We're still supporting fires around the nation and, of course, California. But we're hosting 11 cover engines, so that's 16 engines total. Our crews are either committed to fires or on R&R. And we have a Type 1 helicopter sitting at Scott Valley Helibase, and our AirTac platform is here. The Boise fire went back to the forests probably a week and a half ago, and that's actually on the Six Rivers is managing it, because most of it is on them. But it is looking very well from what I've heard, so that's good news. Also, the Shelley was looking good. Our last fire on the forest was August 29th, so it's been mellow. And just for you guys' information, aside from the Shelley and the Boise, our largest fire this season has been 1.5 acres, and most have been caught under an acre. Our fire restrictions are still in effect, but we're monitoring them closely to see when we can soften them or drop them altogether. And we're kind of in that time right now where we're kind of straddling fire season and then also getting ready for burn season. So there should be a press release coming out in the next couple weeks to talk about the projects that the forest is looking at. And finally, the Smoky Bear balloon will be at the Montague Balloon Festival next weekend.
Whoa.
Come on down.
Yeah.
End of report.
Thank you, Jen. Going to Shasta Trinity, Brian, do you have an update for us?
Sure. Yeah, I would like to let everybody know that we're still in fire season, just like Jen said, still in fire restrictions. We also have a bunch of cover engines. I don't have numbers for you, but definitely still staffed up and prepared. However, my shop, I'm the fuels planner, so my shop is gearing up for prescribed burn season, and that takes a lot of preparation. One of the things that we need to do as best we can is spread public information as to where we'll be burning. We can't really share when we'll be burning because that's a question mark until the conditions allow. But I'd like to share with the group a little bit about what projects we have coming up in and around the Mount Shasta area and McLeod area. So we have the McBride project, of course, which is up the Everett Memorial Highway, just to the north and the east of the city of Mount Shasta. We'll be burning in there again this year, similar to last year. Some lingering smoke effects overnight may be experienced, but we will do our best to get the smoke out of the town and minimize the impacts. And then the rest of the burning that we have is out Highway 89. We've got some up near where 89 and Ski Park Highway are. It's our Snowman's Block. We've got some further east on 89. And then we've got some out kind of in what we call the McLeod Flats in our Harris unit. So it'll be an active burn season for us this year. We plan to use drone ignitions again. That worked really well for us last year. And we're going to try to, really get the information out to the public as to where and as close to when we're burning as possible so that everybody can anticipate that. And other than that, we've got 1 million contracts going. The iZone contract wrapped up, and that was on the east and southeast and south side of Mount Shasta City, just right up against private land. We're trying to take care of the Forest Service land that boundaries that borders the city. And so that was a lot of mastication, a lot of hand piling, some machine piling, a lot of snagging. That contract turned out really well. That's all wrapped up. We've got other contracts going out in the flats, just doing the fuels reduction work. That's our mission. So really, that's the update I have for you all, unless there's any questions.
Are there any questions for Brian? Excellent update. I'm so excited. Drone ignitions. Wow. How high tech is that? So anyway, any questions for Brian?
I've got a question, Brian. First though, I got a comment. That McBride is looking great with what firing you guys have been doing there in recent years. It's looking really nice. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Dale.
I saw a lot of timber falling of dead and dying beetle-killed trees between McBride Campground and the 10-gallon plantation. What's going to become of that? Is that going to be opened up for firewood use?
Oh, good question, Dale. Yeah, I forgot to mention that project. That's ongoing. So that is being accomplished by our own agency resources, as well as a lot of cover resources that we have brought in. So the cover engines that are helping staff up for fire preparedness. We have them out cutting those snags, those hazard trees along the Everett Memorial. As of right now, they're just dumping them and leaving them, doing minimal cleanup, making a couple piles here and there. That wood is available for firewood cutting as long as it's on the firewood map, which I don't have in front of me. I can't guarantee that the entire project area is within the firewood cutting map. However, any dead and down tree on fed land that is on the firewood cutting map is available for firewood cutting. So I would consult your firewood cutting map. Long-term plans for that wood is to remove what we can, either in the form of chips or log form, coal, biomass, feed a cogen somewhere, make power out of it. Or if we can't access it with machines or something, then we may be piling it and burning it in the future. And contract may be required to complete that project just because there are so many snags, as I'm sure you know, that we're looking at that for next year.
Yeah, well, in that particular area, doesn't look like there's any access. It'd be easy to punch in a temporary road so firewood makers could get in there. It's a tremendous resource for firewood for our citizens, but at the same time, it's a tremendous resource for biomass if there is a market. Without a doubt, with that huge depth of 1,000-hour fuels, 2-3 feet deep, we do need to take care of that. You know better than me.
Yes, I agree with everything you said, Dale.
And the firewood map, where would one get one of those?
You will get one for free every time you buy firewood tags.
All right. All
Well,
right.
thank you again for the great work.
Thanks. Thanks,
Of course.
Brian. I appreciate your report.
You bet.
So moving along, CAL FIRE, I don't believe anybody from CAL FIRE is here. Caltrans, no. Speak up if you are and I miss you. RCD, everybody's, we've got several people on extended vacations and trips and off to other endeavors tonight. So UC Ag Extension, Christian Jordan, not here. OrCal, not here. Siskiyou Prescribed Burn, not here. Scott River Watershed Council, not here. They had a meeting themselves tonight. Mount Shasta Bioregional. Nick, do you have any updates for us?
You're gonna have to put up with some Sesame Street in the background. It's
Good. I love it.
the kid hour right now. Yeah, we're looking to finish off the Deets Road neighborhood, which was a project where we were basically organizing the community to take control of their own ingress and egress, and worked with CAL FIRE to bring chippers on site. Probably have like another 2-day work period this fall, once things probably either get wetter or cooler. And then we're going to be looking at adding some other communities. There's some people in the city of Mount Shasta that want to get involved. We've had some inquiries about fire safe. Sorry, the FireWise certification. So I'm looking into that and what it would look like for us to steward those communities through that program. I think everybody's looking at Dunsmuir and saying, hey, the whole city got it, so why can't we? And I think that's a great question. So that's about it for right now.
All right, thank you. So then let's go to, and that's all good news too, Nick. So, and we'd like to start a FireWise and Mount Shasta. So, you know, take the lead on that. That would be great. So
we're basically neighbors, so I'll come by and knock on your door.
Well, we do. Dale already kind of started in the neighborhood, so that would be awesome.
Oh, really?
Look,
Yeah.
we're looking for people. So
we're just around the corner, so
that's cool. Sierra Nevada Conservancy, Thule.
Thanks, Giselle. Just quick update. Our governing board had the opportunity to meet in Siskiyou County last week. Thank you to all the folks who came to the field tour or to the meeting. Just wanted to extend a big gratitude from our governing board and our staff for all the great work that partners are doing in this county, and they look forward to getting to partner with everybody moving forward. So thanks again, and looking forward to having them back in a couple of years to see progress that we make between now and then. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Siskiyou County OES. Nancy Ogren. Red Cross. We just had an update from Pacific Power. Jim Patterson from the USDA NRCS Air Quality. Siskiyou County Sheriff's, CHP, Siskiyou County Natural Resources. Any updates on the Stevens funding opportunity, Jen? Do you have any information, or Brian? Is it going to come open this year?
I don't have any information.
I don't either. I will let you know if I hear anything.
Okay, let's go to local fire safe councils then. Black Mountain, Joey.
Hey, everybody. Nothing really to update, just still trying to do my healing from my incident. I have heard from a few of my customers. They're just waiting on me to get healed up and start working back down on A12. Part of my portion of doing my side work. And I just wanted to update on some of that first little powered presentation that Dale brought up. We also need to remember, yeah, I was one of the ones that lost power. Oh shoot, we probably lost power out here this summer from fire season, probably anywhere from over about 24 times at least. Just wanted to bring up one concern that just remember that everybody up here north, we don't just lose power, we also lose water supply. 90% of us out here in Hornbrook and Northern County is all ran by well water. So that's a big issue for fire situations up here, for homeowners not being able to have water to use to cook with, drink, or even maybe put out a small fire that starts up in their own yard. So that's a big concern out here as well. So just bringing that up to our local community, that I'm trying to find ways to get, now that we lost our dams up here, here in the near future, when we get years of droughts, it's going to be a very big time concern out here with no water supply for anything. So that was just one big thing I wanted to bring up. And other than that, I'm just trying to heal so I can get myself back out there and do what I can.
Thank you, Joe. That's a good update. Butte Valley, we're still working in Bray. We're, I think, going to get on the ground soon and get some fuel reduction done around that area, in that little subdivision that's out there. Also, we had the Butte Valley Tule Lake Fair this last week, and Kathy Derby, the leader of the Fire Safe Council in Butte Valley, manned the table one of those days, and so did Kristen, and they had, oh, do you remember, Josh? They had a ton of engagements, people stopping by. So
200 or so. It was, yeah, it was a lot of people.
it was a good show, and we're thankful for those gals that were out there. Copco Lake, nothing. For Dunsmuir, and I was just trying to put it in chat. Dunsmuir, as you know, celebrated this week they were the 900th Firewise community in the state of California, and Cal Fire came up from Sacramento and Redding and presented them their certificate and a big sign to go on their entrance to the city. And it was a great send-off or kickoff of that program. 1,400 homes in one Firewise community, almost unprecedented. Oh, Stephen Decatur is not here. He said he was going to try to hop on when he could, but he didn't. Stephen Decatur is responsible largely for making that happen. There were a lot of people that worked up on it leading up to that. Stephen completed that application, and it was really a good thing. There's a link to the celebration on our Facebook. You can go and look for more information. This September 25th, starting at 5 p.m. via Zoom and at the City Council Hall right next to the fire department, Dunsmuir will be having a Fire Safe Council meeting. They haven't had one in a while, so we're hoping that as many people that are interested will join them via Zoom, check in and hear what they're up to. There's some really good things going on down there, and Steve Decatur again will be leading that, and we really appreciate what he's done. Any comments on Dunsmuir? I see Nick. Because Nick said, can someone here share Stephen Decatur? Oh, his email. Yes, I will put that in chat.
Hey, I direct messaged him. Do you want me to
no,
just post it
nope,
for the
that's
group?
good. That's
Okay.
good. Thank you. All right. Greater Weed, we got a grant that we're going to start writing a CWPP. We're going to put that out for bid, a community wildfire protection plan for weed. And I'm not sure how far into Hammond's Ranch, who's next, that will go, but Hammond's Ranch is HOA is working on some fire safe things, including trying to become a fire-wise community out there. Anybody here want to comment? Happy Camp. Anybody from Happy Camp? Horse Creek. Anybody able to comment about Horse Creek? Our Horse Creek guy is gone. Glenn, he's taking a vacation with his family. Juniper Flat, Margie's not here, but they finished their project and they're looking forward in the future to be getting more funds to do more work. Klamath River, Yvonne.
Okay, I think you can hear me now. Okay, let's see. Not a lot of action here. The main thing I did between this month was I talked with Joshua from CORE, just brainstorming about effective ways to reach the downriver community for the wildfire defense community defense grant. Also, what would be the most effective way to get us all together in this area to have a Firewise informational meeting? It's one of those things that we're all spread out, and I was telling him, we live, out in the country for a reason. So what's the best way effective to get people, not have a lot of different meetings, but get people there. So we're coordinating, brainstorming at this point. So I really appreciate his time and attention.
Thank you for your help, Yvonne, especially the phone book trick.
Yeah.
It is brilliant. If anybody doesn't know, there's a lot of confusion with addresses along the river. You could live in Hamburg, but sign your address that you live in Klamath River, even though you don't. So it caused some confusion, and thanks for the guidance.
Well, what's the phone book trick?
So Siskiyou will section off their residents by geography. So even though you are in Hamburg and you sign off your address as Klamath River, since you're geographically based in Hamburg, that's where they'll section you off in the phone book.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you get a Siskiyou phone book, you can see with these downriver communities, they're all kind of included in a grouping, but they'll tell you the name of the roads and things like that will help you geographically locate who lives where. So your grant, right, is going to start with the Hamburg area that was identified as a high priority. And
Hamburg, Cecilville and Callahan. Sorry.
Yeah. So Hamburg, he was having a difficult time trying to figure out where is, what is, who is in Hamburg exactly. So that was my trick.
Oh, well, it's good to know. We're going to get one of those phone books now.
Yeah.
So moving on, Lake Shastina. We're working on the VTP with Shasta Valley RCD. We're getting closer to getting that finalized. When we do, we're going to be identifying some roadways to do work along, and we already have identified them. We're going to move forward with that, put that out to bid and get some work done out there, we hope. Next is, where did I leave off? Oh, Lower Scott River, they're not here. McLeod, not here. Mount Shasta area, we're still working on the South Old Stage project, and Shasta Valley RCD is working on the West Mount Shasta project, and more to come on that as they move forward. Unless someone has some information on the West Mount Shasta. Josh, did you said something this morning about it, and so I'm not sure what that was, but there is a West Mount Shasta project for fuel reduction. Go ahead, Josh.
That was all. Yeah, fuel reduction project. I know they're looking for signups, so we were going to provide them since we've got quite an abundance. So it should work out pretty well.
Right. Orleans Soames Bar, not here. Or Quartz Valley, Greg Randazzo.
Hey, Giselle. So we did get accepted for the CWDG grant, so we will be performing a CWPP out there for all of Quartz Valley, actually. It won't be specific to the reservation or anything like that. It'll kind of be a nice all-encompassing protection plan. So we're super excited about that. I'm hoping I will still be able to work with them to get that completed, even though I will be working for AmeriCorps now. But other than that, hopefully with that CWPP and everything, we can start getting some plans in there for ingress, egress work, because I know a lot of that needs to be done. And just kind of starting to figure out funding and things like that for that. So, hopefully we can set up a couple chipper days or something like that with the new chipper that Quartz Valley has and kind of go from there.
That is awesome news. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah,
on
we're
the
excited for it.
CWDG grant. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're here for you if you need help with that, as we'll be working on a couple of, one's an update and one's a new CWPP. And so, yeah, we'd like to share anything we have that might help you and vice versa.
Awesome.
Thank
Yes,
you.
that's awesome. Thank you. It's what it's all about is, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah. Hey, I like that. Okay. All right. Salmon River. Josh, would you share about our event? I think you already did. So they're having their Fire Safe Council meeting today, so they couldn't be here. But we did have a really good meeting out there this week and met lots of good people with lots of interest in fire safe being their properties. Anybody you have anything to add, Josh?
Again, just thank you to everybody who helped make it happen. It was really successful and exciting to kick it off for the first time.
And then Syad Valley, anybody here from Syad? All right. Any other fire safe councils present that would like to say anything? Because we'd like to hear from you. Okay, let's move into open forum. Anybody have any questions, answers, comments? We'd like to hear from you. No? All righty.
I do.
Okay, hi Heidi.
Hi. A couple things. There's that debris flow next to McBride Springs where Brian was talking about doing the fuels project. And I don't know if he's aware that the trees have completely died out. So that if he's off, I'll connect with him separately. But there's a whole nother problem up there that occurred within the last year. Just everything dried out, and it's a new problem. The other thing is a year ago, I took down 4 white fir, 36, 48-inch diameter white fir because they died.
Wow.
And I'm looking at spending another big chunk of money to do fuels projects on my property in the next month. So I'm just wondering, how do I find out if I'm within an area where I can request funding assistance or grant support, or am I missing an opportunity to help pay for all this because it's adding up?
Where do you live, Heidi?
I'm right off of just north of the railroad tracks and just off of Shasta Alpine on Black Butte.
Okay. Josh, can we get her a home assessment?
Yeah, Heidi, if you want to send me your contact information in the chat, or if you just want to email mine that I posted earlier.
Yeah, I'll do that. I've
provide
got
you
everything's
all kinds of-
flagged, and I have a contractor coming any day now. So that I'll get hold of you. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Heidi.
Right. Any other open forum? Ruby, did you note any pertinent action items for next month? Can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, okay. From this meeting, did I know any?
Yeah, yeah. Did you see anything in the notes that would just stand out that we need to do for next meeting?
Besides the things that Jill Drinkwater said she would get back to us on, I didn't see anything else.
All right. Well, thank you for taking notes, by the way. Ruby stepped in for Kristen because Kristen had to be a soccer mom. She's coaching a little soccer team, and it happened to be the same time as this meeting. So good for her. Family first, I always say. All right.
I was wondering, do we know any more about insurance? What's happening? I mean, I know that I heard something anyway about the insurance companies being able to raise their rates in the state, but are they coming back? You know, are the companies coming back to California? Or, you know, is it a lost cause with all these crazy people setting fires all over the place?
Yeah. Well, my best advice is to go to United Policy Holders. I think it's up.com, United Policy Holders, and check out what they have on there. I'm getting a couple of different versions of the story, but what I heard was I think they are going to be raising, some of them are, their prices at the same time. More are going to be giving discounts if you're Firewise. So, Josh, do you have any input on that?
Ditto what you said, and when it comes down to it, just make sure you're contacting your insurance provider if you have one.
Yeah. And like I said, go to United Policy Holders. They have latest information. They were down in Dunsmuir, and they will come anytime we want them to and talk more. So if you want them at next meeting or the meeting after, I won't be here. I won't be able to be here next meeting, but the meeting after that. And Annie, or is it Annie from United Policy Holders, said she's willing to come anytime and answer our questions. So let's invite her back.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. If there's, our next meeting will be October 9th, 5:30 p.m. Anybody have anything else to say? If not, we'll adjourn. No? Well, thank you all so much. Good
Thank
meeting.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all you do.
You too, Yvonne. All of you are stars in the realm of fire safe. I appreciate you. Okay.